not the time to stay in Borodale. Now is the time to stay where you are making money.
Wow.
Doing so the projects, and we can generate money from here that we can go and build in Borodale. So now we can be able to buy a stand in Harare for $10,000. You shall take lodgers, those low rent-paying lodgers in Harare to be in your house, and then they will pay you $50 per room.
In the heart of Morewa, far from the noise of the city, lies this beautiful house you see here, guys. And you wonder who's behind it and why here in Morewa. Let's go and meet the visionary behind the house. Why did you decide to build in Morewa? Although we have Harare, we have every places.
The rationale behind, it's so funny. If I can just tell you about the story. Actually, I can correct you a bit. This is Goromonzi.
Okay.
Morewa, you need to go further down.
This is Goromonzi.
Yes. One thing, I always advise people and tell people about this simple rule. If you can be able to buy a stand in Harare for $10,000, and build a stand in Harare in the house for $10,000, and you invest another maybe $15,000 building that place without any source of income, you're not doing anything.
That's true.
Because when this time came to an end, you shall take lodgers, those low rent-paying lodgers in Harare to be in your house, and then they will pay you $50 per room, and then you squatter in one of your bedrooms, your men in suit, because you now past your age or your retirement age, and then you are home, you don't have any source of income, and then you are relying on the rentals that you are getting from that house. So if you can raise 5,000 up to 10,000, why can't you just go to your rural area, and build a house, a modest house of yourself, And so if you just do that, then you're okay. You know that you're doing the project. Here we're doing projects, and we can generate money from here that we can go and build in Borodale. So now is not the time to stay in Borodale. Now is the time to stay where you are making money.
Wow.
So this is where we are making money. So this is where we are. This is where we have decided to build a modest house, not in Harare, because in Harare is just the place to spend money, but we make money here. So when we are here, we need to be comfortable.
Wow.
That's why we built this small house, but quite comfortable, and you see the surrounding area, quite comfortable, to have that life, the rural life and the town life that we take to the rural life, and the environment is cool, and the choice is good, and this is why we are here, because we've decided, no, we need to be where we can make money, at the same time, live comfortably.
Okay.
So this is this place.
So are there many challenges that you faced when building a house?
No. This is a rural community, as you can see. Everyone has a rural home, and everyone has a rural land.
Okay.
You just go to your father, and he can just show you where you can build your house.
That's true.
Then you're done, you mold your bricks. Wow. Remember, here we just mold our bricks. This we did not buy our bricks from Harare.
I think let's just show where they made the bricks, because people might think that we are making some comments or jokes.
People may think that this is fiction. No,
that's true.
This is not fiction. This is reality that we are talking about. This is muchakata. You see, this muchakata is starting to give fruit. So when they are ripe, we can eat chakata here from the rural setup. You won't get chakata from
also
Harare.
those like majanje, like
yes,
wow,
those like majanje.
Wow.
You won't get them in Harare, and they are not sold in Harare.
Wow. But I see like indigenous trees, men here. You didn't cut them down.
No, we did not cut them down.
Wow.
We can enjoy hacha here.
True.
And they are very healthy.
And the type of air that we breathe in here is totally different from the one that we breathe in Harare.
The environment here is good.
That's true. Wow.
So this is the place where we mold our bricks. so that for whoever is seeing this in Shona tinochiti churich,
That's true.
I don't know, we can't say it's an and maybe it's an odd andio, this is where we are molding our bricks, and you can see down there there are bricks that we have already burned, to do the big stage. So this is where we do our bricks to build this house that you are seeing there.
Okay. So you made them here, then you burn them?
Yes, we burn them here. We just buy firewood from the local people.
So which means from this house, what you only used is the cement, maybe the steel,
the roofing sheets.
And the roofing sheets.
Yes.
But otherwise, all the things.
Yes, pit sand is here, river sand is here.
Oh, you can also find pit sand and river sand here.
Yes, you can also find pit sand and river sand here. Everything is here. So it lowers down the cost of building your rural home.
Wow.
What
about in terms of water? Is this area very easy to drill a bore?
Yes, we have got a bore. As you can see, those are solar bores. We have got a bore here, and our bore, it doesn't run dry. Do not run dry. And water is always available. We have got a tap water here. Inside the house, the toilets are connected to water, so we can flush the toilets here. It's more like we're in Harare, we're in town, so we are modernizing this rural thing, the rural communities. So when we are here, we don't need to go to the bushes looking for a toilet. We just get inside there, and we can flush. This is the modern thing that we are doing. So it's very cheap to build here, very, very cheap. You can see everything is locally produced except the roofing sheets, and then the windows, the window frames, those that are what we can get from Harare, but the rest you get it from here. So it's very cost effective.
Wow. And one thing that I like here, there is meat, there is also maize, there is also vegetable. I think that's most of the people that they are just living for those things.
Yes.
That's what they are doing. They go to work to buy meat, they go to work to buy sadza, but
yes.
you are producing it all here.
We are
I don't think there's other thing that you say I want here.
No, nothing. When you are here, you're okay. We've got our road runners there, so if you need meat from road runners, we can take the road runners, and they're very healthy. And we used to do broilers, and we shall also do broilers here, but we want to do layers there. So this crop of maize is the second crop of maize. We have already done the first one, and we've already harvested the first crop. All in one season, in one cropping season. So this is the second one. So we've got vegetable gardens here. So everything, the waste from the piggery, we take it to vegetables, and then we have got indigenous fruit trees like mwacha. Yes. You see, you can see that muhute, is there again. Yes, we have got all those trees here, and we can enjoy them in abundance when the time came. So we live here all the year, and you don't need anything here. You don't need anything. What you just need is $1 to go to the grinding mill. Otherwise, you are okay.
Everything is here.
Yeah, okay. By the other end, we have got goats there. So if we need goat meat, we can just slaughter our goat. Then we are okay. So this is how good rural life is.
That's true.
It's very good.
And do you see rural life as the future?
Rural life is the future. Because if you look from the people that comes from the diaspora, in the diaspora, there are some rural communities which are well electrified and everything, and we've got some people who came from Zimbabwe to go to work in the diaspora, and they work in those small villages. So when they came back here, their mind is already changed. What they do is just go to the rural areas or buy some rural land, and they set up their base there, because it's a stress-free environment, very stress-free. Everything that you need is there, and life in rural areas is very cheap. So this is the future, and you can also make money. Yes, I said we are doing piggery, we are making money. We're doing road runners, we're doing broilers. Now we want to do layers. There are all avenues of making money.
That's true.
So you can easily keep your money in your pocket, or can easily save, because 95% of your food here you are not buying.
You're purchasing it yourself.
Yes, you are purchasing it yourself. Because in Harare, if you have got $20 today, by end of day, you have nothing.
That's true.
But here, if you have got $20, by end of day, probably you've got $25.
That's true.
You increase your money because you don't need to buy anything.
Yeah.
You just process it yourself.
You are limited to many things. In Harare, it's all about social media life and what, all the clothes and what, the trips and what. Even for the young people like me, I think if you put someone in here, it works also as a rehabilitation for the youths, because they won't be. I know, I cannot say I know, because there are no cases of drug abuse mostly in the rural areas, because they are more focused on things that matters.
Yes.
So I think even rural areas, that's what my mom did to me. When I finished my Form 4, I think I come out with 2 O levels.
Okay.
Then they say, no, we are not going to repeat yourself here. I'm going to send you to the rural area so that you can learn there, because that's where the real education is. Yeah. So I went to the rural educations. It works as a rehabilitation to myself, because I was not included in many different things. You won't have time to go on social media, because even the network sometimes, now I think I know the network is now okay because of Starlink and what, but you won't have the time for social media. You won't have time even to play with the friends, because that's where you get convinced even to be on the drugs. You'll be only focused on school.
Yes.
So I think also, if you want to exclude your children from that environment, I know some of them, they think it's good, but to me, as the point that I see is it's something which is not good.
It's not even good, because this environment, you see, people here, they don't have time to take mutoriro. They don't have time for taking drugs, because what they are occupied with is doing gardening. There's no time to take mutoriro because they want to do gardening. There's no time to take mutoriro because they are clearing and cleaning somewhere. This is the rural life here. They are always occupied, because there are so many opportunities here. If you take a youth who is just by the bridge, standing by the bridge almost, or sitting by the bridge almost every day, if you take him and put him here, the land is there. It's just his labor to do the gardening. In 1 month, cover is already done, rape is already done, and he is now starting to sell cover here, vegetables for $1, a bundle for $1. On a good day, he can take about $10 or $15 on a good day, And what did he put? Just his labor. So he has got enough time to put himself into, rather than taking drugs, taking time taking drugs, wasting time taking drugs, doing all those activities. So here the life is, you just concentrate, you rediscover yourself. It's a rehabilitation, a natural rehabilitation center, where you can actually rediscover yourself and put yourself into proper mindset, and put yourself into factory settings and start saying, no, I want my life to move like this and that and that and that. There you go.
Wow. And the funny part of rural thing, when people see things, I see it different, like what you do. When the past, judging from the past, our grandfathers, they used to buy land, and they used to want land from the rural areas. They didn't want to buy in the Harare CBD or what. But now generation, we think that our fathers, they didn't do good thing, because now people are generating money in the CBD, in the CBDs. They are now making money. But now, if we don't invest back in the rural areas, our sons, they're going to say our father, they didn't do well, because the rural will build the future. So it's now vice versa.
Yes.
So it's for you to invest in the rural areas right now before it's too late, because your children will say you didn't do well.
Dynamics have changed.
That's true.
Dynamics have changed. The only problem that our fathers and our forefathers did was not to modernize their rural setup, and in fact not to monetize,
That's true.
their rural setups. If they had monetized them, otherwise we wouldn't go to Harare, in the first place. We knew that this is the place to make money. You see, my son, when he goes to school, when he finishes school, his A-level, his university, he will come here because he knows that we are doing something at our rural home. And he knows that that's where the money is coming from, and he knows that he can monetize it better than I was doing, He can come and put some modern structures here for business, and start making money out of that, because he knows that my father was doing this, and he sent us to school, and he did whatever he did because of this, because we have managed to monetize our raw homes. But our forefathers and our grandfathers, they did not monetize them. That was the reason why we ran from rural areas to urban centers, because there was nothing coming from our rural areas. But now we've monetized them, and we are living the same life as the one which is being lived and survived in the urban areas, you know. So there's no motive for me to go there. The motive is here. Yeah. That's where my money is coming from.
That's true. So guys, come, let's go and see the house, the beautiful house, guys.
So it's just a house that we built, a small house that we refer to as a cottage, you know. Yes, because we just say when we are here, we just need somewhere nice to accommodate ourselves, you know, it's on a low cost budget. You know, one thing that I've learned is whatever you do, you know, my guy, just try to maintain the cost very low.
That's true.
Try to maintain it. There's no show off. Who do you want to show off?
Yeah, it's your life.
It's your life. You know, you can just come in. You are free to come in.
Thank you.
Don't mind about these all sex. They are fit sexes. Wow. You know, for our piggery. Yes. So
look at this, guys.
Yes, so this is the kitchen area. It's still work in progress, but this is the kitchen area.
But you are saying that this one is just for you when you are here for the project, but as I am judging this one, I see this one is a beautiful house.
I just need to be comfortable, and my family also needs to be comfortable.
That's true.
They should not think about the town life.
Yeah.
Town life is here.
That's true.
You know, I also needed to sit by the high chair there. Yeah. You know, just taking. Unfortunately, I don't drink, but just taking my glass of 100% fruit juice.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
In the comfort of my rural house.
Yeah.
And when I look by the glass, you know, I can see the lawns, and I can see birds flying and goats grazing, you know.
That's the life.
It's a good environment which can make you to reset your life and make your future, you know, enjoyable at the end of the day. So this is just the kitchen, and this is granite stone, and the bottom is granite as well, and we're trying to make it as good as possible so that we enjoy both lives.
Wow. And you know that point that you say you need the comfort, you know, us growing, when our parents said you are going to Mosha, we say we won't go there because of the comfort.
Yes.
So I think for your children, they will love even to come here because they know it's very nice.
It's very nice.
That's
and they have got everything.
Yeah.
You know, they've got
from
everything.
The electricity, from the water.
Everything is there.
Wow.
They don't even suffer. They don't go carry buckets on their top, you know, coming from fetching water some 3 kilometers away from the house, you know. They just go outside. Inside here, we have connected everything, you know. That's water is there, everything is there. So you're home.
And I see that you are someone with the nature, who are attached to the nature, because here we have got some aloe vera, right?
This is a flower, not aloe vera.
Oh, this is a flower?
Yeah, this is a flower,
wow.
You know. And I am actually a nature-loving person, as you can see here. These flowers, if I can tell you that these flowers, in one point in time, I wanted to throw them away because I think they failed to adopt with the environment. They are almost close to a year, these flowers, but I just left them in the flower pots. Now they are just coming out, you know. Yes, and I said,
you thought they were dead?
Yes, I thought they were dead, but now they're just coming out, you know. We just water them. So I'm just actually in love of nature because as you can see, you know, it's just a small but simple thing. So anyone can actually do this, you know.
Guys,
anyone can be anything
amazing.
At the end of the day. So this is the whole sitting area, that's the whole sitting area, and these are 3 bedrooms, you know. There are 3 bedrooms, yes, the main bedroom and 2 spares, you know. So the family can stay here comfortable. Everyone has his own room, you know. So there's no need. If you have got girls, they've got their room. If you've got boys, they've got their room. And you also have your main bedroom. Then you're done.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and you can come here and you watch TV. The whole family can sit there and watch television. I removed some of the things because I thought maybe they will be stolen, you know. So I just removed the television set and some of the things, you know. But this I just left them. As you can see, you can breathe natural air from the flowers, flower pots. You see, it's something that I have created myself, you know. It's not my wife who created this. I have created this myself because I'm a nature-loving person, you know. So
nice.
yes, so I just made sure that I want to do the best for my family on a small budget. Don't forget, on a small budget.
So everything that you do, just have to make
yes, minimize your costs.
You know that criteria is even being used by whites. I see some of the whites even in Harare, although they don't want to go to the rural areas. What they do is they build those. Now people in Harare, the blacks one, they are now building it for money. But the whites, you know what they did? Those garden houses that you see, they build them so that they generated the money that covers all the cost of their house, so that they don't even bring money from their pockets. It's just covering the electricity bills, it's covering the water bills, it's covering even the renovation, everything.
Yes.
So I think that's the future. You just have to modernize everything.
Yes, just modernize, maintain the cost, make sure your costs are low, make sure your lifestyle is not that extravagant. Let it be just simple but very nice, you know. By that you are done. And the rural setup, you know, it will teach you, you know, to be punctual. You know, because what you need, the goal is to make money.
Yeah, that's true.
That is the goal.
Yeah,
the goal is not this house.
Yes.
The goal is the project. That is the goal.
Yeah.
But for me to supervise the project very well, I should be comfortable, you know. So this is how it works. You don't start from building a mansion, then you go to the project.
No.
You start by the project, then you build something small that can accommodate you. Then you get money from the project, and then you start to reinvest and diversify as you go.
So, judging from seeing the house, what money can you say you used here on the building?
On the house alone, it's less 5K.
Less 5,000.
Less 5,000.
Wow.
Because everything is locally sourced. It's here. Bricks are here. Rivers and is here. Pits and is here. Wow. You know, and builders, they're local builders as well.
Also, you even employ the local builders.
Yes, the local people.
Wow,
yes, it's local builders who can build this. So everything, what you can get from Harare is the roofing sheets, you know, and the window frames and the glasses. That's what you get from Harare. But otherwise, everything is from here. You just get it here.
It's nice, guys.
Then we are done. And the only cost which I can talk about is maybe the bore cost, which is known by everyone.
Yes,
you know?
That's true. You can even do a well.
Yes, you can even do a well. When I get here, I did a well. I had a well down there, you know. That's what I did first when I came here. And I was doing vegetables from that well. And I was surviving with vegetables from that well, you know. And later on, then I upgraded myself because you get a raw home. Here's the logistics. Maybe you get $10,000. Here's dollars. You get a raw home. You go there. You want to do bore there on there. Bore will cost you something like 3.5 to 4,000.
That's true.
Already you're left with 6,000.
That's true.
You know, and you want to do a project. So a well was a good idea for me to start with.
Okay.
Then I generate money through Brailler, a project, to do a bore.
Wow.
Using a well.
All right.
You get it? So what you need to do is to focus on what you want to achieve at the end of the day. So I was using a well. And I had no problem with using a well.
That's true.
You know?
It's water.
It's water. You know, and the water was very clean.
Yeah.
But I was doing my umbrellas with that well. So it's not that I was moneyed and I just came here one end, do all these things.
Yes.
No, I just started small. You know, always start small.
That's
you know, always start small. And if you start small, you grow gradually from one stage to another. Life is more like steps.
Okay.
You get to the next step. Yes. You don't jump the next to get onto the top. It's by order.
Yeah.
So if you jump steps and if you jump levels, it will come back to you.
Wow.
That's where you do things that you won't be able to finish. Because you've jumped another level. You don't jump another level. You stand on the top of the stairs and you look back where you come from.
Yes.
There is a history where you come from. You don't just wake up at the top.
Yeah.
No. So for me to be where I am today, I started small. I had a well.
Right.
First I had a well.
Yeah.
And then later on I did a bore, but I was doing a broiler rearing from that well.
And now you are doing pigs.
Now I was doing pigs. Yes, everything.
Wow.
you see.
So most of the people, you know, they will be watching from diaspora. What's the message to those people that are abroad and they want to maybe to invest in Zimbabwe? Or just a message to the diasporans? What would you say to them?
Problem with the diasporans, they think they haven't worked enough to invest back home. That is their problem.
That's true.
You know, and which may take them 15, 20 years in the diaspora, but without even investing here home. What you need at maximum in the diaspora, you will need to work for in fact 5 maximum years in the diaspora.
Yes.
Then you are done. Then you come back home, you know. So whoever, because now the urban stands are very expensive.
That's true.
So if you've got a rural home, or if you can have land that you can buy from the suburb people, you know, the suburb, those suburb deals, etc., etc.
Yes.
Despite that they were under scrutiny some time back, you know, but still, if you get the privilege, you know, you can just buy that, and it's cheaper. You can buy a suburb land for 5,000, you know, and then you build your house, you start your projects.
Yes.
So now the diasporan people, you know, this is to motivate them, you know, to show them that everything is possible. I didn't want to go to diaspora because I know that my life is here and my wealth is here in Zimbabwe. Yes. All I need is to make a difference. You know, all I need is to think outside the box and to set up all these things. So they need to take a gamble and a risk. You know, it's a sure risk. That if they just build their home, what else do they need in the diaspora? Nothing. You invest here. You start to buy properties. If you want to take yourself into property, you start to buy properties. You start to buy whatever houses. You know, you start to you increase your portfolio, your business or investment portfolio. But you start from here with these humble beginnings. I know someone who is watching. To him, it's no longer humble beginnings. Yeah, you know, it's no longer humble beginnings. It's some way, but to me, it's a humble beginning.
That's true.
You know, because it's an achievement that I can say, wow, thank God that I'm here. You know, this is what I've done. So the diasporan, don't be afraid. This is the time. You know, right. Just make a debt and start to change your life. Home is always best.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Home is always best.
That's
you know, and here you are comfortable. From here to town, I can tell you it's just 40 kilometers to Harare. I just need $2 if I'm not driving. $2. Someone who is coming from Norton, I'm just as good as someone who is coming from Norton.
Yeah,
I'm just as good as someone who is coming from Chitungisa.
Yes.
Except that there is no traffic congestion here.
Yeah, that's
you know,
there's no
traffic congestion here.
Wow.
You see.
So guys, you heard from the man himself. Start small, guys. Step by step, you will reach where you want to be. And those who are watching from the first, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share.